Hello everyone, and Tarot Queen here, and this is day 2 of our mighty mini challenge where we are challenging ourselves to learn more about manifesting using the tarot cards. And I have chosen 7 major arcana cards to work with to help us learn more about the whole manifestation process, how energies may work within that process, how we can help ourselves open up to manifesting and be guided by the wisdom of the tarot cards. So this is day 2, and we have the Empress that we are working with today. And isn't she glorious? And this comes from my Spellcasters Tarot deck. I really love this. I love this card and I love this deck. It is beautiful. And as you can see on her shield, she has a rune, and it is the rune of protection. And I seem to be working a lot with runes at the moment. So again, it is something that is quite meaningful to me, and I hope the information that comes through this particular card today might assist you in working through some of the things that might be stopping you or holding you back from really looking at making life happen for you, as opposed to making life happen or allowing life happen to you. So the Empress really is where manifestation stops feeling like some sort of a strategy and starts feeling like we're having a relationship. We're having a relationship with manifesting. We're not doing it, we're working with and through it. So for a lot of people, this is exactly where things begin to fall apart, because up to this point, it's been very easy to treat manifesting and manifestation like a checklist. So you tick all the boxes, you set your intention, you visualize it, you think positive, you repeat affirmations until something shifts. Now that's great for the Magician that we did yesterday. So if you haven't caught up with yesterday's little video, please go back to day 1 of the Magician and you will learn more about techniques through him. And he thrives in that space. So he's focused, he's deliberate, he's mentally sharp, and he knows how to direct energy. But the Empress doesn't direct energy. She receives it. She nurtures it. She allows it to grow in its own time. And that is where you might get a little bit uncomfortable in this work, especially if there are traumas or issues surrounded by or that come from your own family of origin story. Now we all know that trauma from our childhood can tend to blanket everything else that happens in our lives, no matter how old we are. And it is complex and it is difficult, and by no means am I going to negate anything that may personally have happened to you, and or say to you that it is very easy to overcome. I have my own personal family of origin issues and traumas and dramas that have stayed with me for a very long time. I'm in my 60s now, so I'm not here to convince you that it's going to be easy. But the but is important. How long do we want our lives to circle back to that period of time where we felt so uncomfortable and so disempowered? Because most of us aren't there anymore. So the Empress teaches us that manifestation is not about creating something out of nothing. It's about tending to something once it's already begun. So in stage 1, the Magician, we thought about all the things that were associated with sort of the groundwork. So how we think, how we speak, and what we think about progress, what we think about what holds us back. Here the Empress is teaching us something different. She is teaching us about nurturing this whole process of becoming or leading into something. It's like planting that seed, and now what we have to do is we have to water it. So the moment you have a desire, even the faintest whisper of one, the seed has already been planted, just as I said. What happens next is not about forcing it into existence. It's about whether you can care for it long enough for it to take root. So this is where patience enters the picture, and not the kind people like to talk about. So let's trust divine timing. No, we are not going to trust divine timing. We're going to take it into our hands, and we are going to make this happen. So that's the real kind, the kind where nothing looks like it's happening, where you've done the visualization and you've set the intention, and now you're left sitting in the quiet wondering if any of it is going to work. That's the dark spot there, when you're sitting and thinking, what have I done? What am I doing? And this is where the Empress says to you, don't panic. You may feel like you're going to panic, but please don't. Because she understands something most people don't want to accept. Growth is invisible before it is obvious. Think about that. Growth is invisible before it is obvious. You don't dig up a seed every day to check if it's growing. You don't stand over it demanding results. You water it, you give it light, and you trust that something is happening beneath the surface, even when you can't see a thing. And this is the power of the Empress. She doesn't chase outcomes. She creates the right conditions. So this is where her wisdom cuts a bit deeper than most people expect, because if you look honestly at your own life, the question becomes, what are you actually nurturing? What do you really want? What are you consistently feeding? We go back to that old analogy of two wolves. Which one are you feeding? So the attention that you have and that you bring to things, your thoughts, your environment, the way you speak to yourself, as we talked about in The Magician, all of it is soil, and the Empress doesn't discriminate. She will grow whatever is planted. So if you're feeding doubt, guess what? She will expand that too. If you're consistently circling lack, replaying what hasn't worked, focusing on what's missing, she doesn't step in and correct you. She'll simply nurture what you've given her. And that's the part most of us don't love hearing. We can create far more chaos in our world than actually exists. So manifestation under the Empress isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about becoming aware of what you are unconsciously cultivating. And this is where the Empress becomes quietly confronting, because this asks for a different kind of responsibility from us. It's not that type of responsibility where you're doing all of the right techniques because you've read the latest book, and the latest book tells you that you've been doing your vision boards all wrong and it has to be this type of a vision board, or that you're not using the right affirmations and so these are the right affirmations. It's a subtle ongoing awareness of how you're showing up every day. The tone of your inner dialogue, the emotion that the environment reflects back to you that you are living in. The way you treat your own desires, whether you dismiss them or rush them or actually allow them space to exist without immediately demanding proof. The Empress strengthens your ability to manifest by slowing you down. And she teaches you how to stay with something long enough for it to develop. It's all about how to hold that vision without suffocating it, without needing to dig up that seed and see if roots are starting. It's how to care for an idea without needing instant validation that it's working. And more than anything, the Empress teaches you to trust your role in the process. Not as the one who forces outcomes, but as the one who sustains life, who feeds the right wolf, feeds the right energy. So she's not all softness and gentleness, and she's not all encouraging. In my picture here, she has a shield and she carries a sword. So she's ready to fight. So there's a warning sitting right beneath her surface. Over-nurturing can be just as destructive as neglect. So you mustn't cling, you mustn't need, you mustn't be in a space of manifesting where you are entering with fear, in that you're pleading for this to happen. And that's really, 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 really hard when you really want something to happen. Really want something to happen. Oh, I've been there so many times, and this is why I have made so many mistakes when it comes to manifesting. I have felt in so much dire need for something to happen that I've virtually begged for it. And it's not going to work. Because it's like watering a plant 10 times a day because you're scared it won't grow. So at some point you're not nurturing anymore, you're drowning it. The Empress warns against that kind of desperation. She also warns against outsourcing your worth to the outcome. If you only feel secure once something manifests, you're already stepped out of the Empress's energy. She's grounded in the present moment, and she finds richness in what already exists, not just what is coming, because she is absolutely aware that she is creating the environment, that she has created what is coming. So that's a real shift there that she is offering. So when you embody the Empress, manifestation stops being this tense, watchful waiting game where you're constantly measuring whether you're doing it right. It becomes quieter and much more stable. You start to notice the things that grow more easily when you're not gripping them so tightly that you're almost squeezing them to death. That ideas develop when you give them space, that opportunities show up when you've created an internal environment that can actually receive them. So it's less about making something happen and more about becoming someone who can hold it when it does. And that is her lesson. And again, that might not be a magic wand to make things happen immediately by your word, because you are some magnificent magician. It is the part that most people skip and then wonder why nothing ever fully lands. And this is something that needs to be practiced daily. This core of feeling control and empowered. And that's where our delicious Empress is today. So that is your wisdom from the Empress card of the tarot deck when it comes to manifestation. So your job today is to nurture and not drown. Starve the beast that no longer serves you and love the beast that does. Okay, I'm going to leave that with you today. And I will catch up with you for day 3 tomorrow again. I hope that this is interesting for you. I hope that you're enjoying it. And if you do, please let me know. Please tell me. I would love to know. And if you want more of this sort of wisdom, tarot wisdom coming through, let me know. And that's what we will do. So thank you very much. And I will see you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.